they like to get the audience as young as possible. There's a concerted effort to sexualize children. I do believe that it's all part of a plan and agenda to actually normalize pedophilia. Hey, this is the Antisocial Socialite back at it again. Thanks so much for tuning in. Shout out to all of you wonderful new subscribers. Thank you so much for hitting that button and the notification bell. We go live a couple of times a week. I upload a couple of times a week. And we discuss love and relationships, issues that relate to the black community, and it's all from a red pill perspective. There's no book more red pill than the Bible, so we will be throwing in scripture. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, so when I get to running this mouth, baby, you are in the loop. You see the title, you know what time it is. Bella Thorne breaks record by making 1 million in a day on OnlyFans. Now, I don't watch Disney because I can't stand Disney. And I said this before, but I didn't want to include it in previous videos. There are rumors going around that places like Disney World were actually mind control facilities. We've seen a lot of issues with people who have come through the Disney Club, or many of these child stars who start out being very cookie cutter, very girly, very young and friendly. Then they start getting into their adulthood and they just completely change. And Bella Thorne is no different. I didn't know who she was, but there's a show on Disney called Shake It Up, and she was yet another Disney protege who came through. And this is something that it ties into the Cuties movie. It ties into the movie that I did regarding the image of black women in the media. If you haven't watched those two videos, please go and check them out. And basically, they like to get the audience as young as possible. There's a concerted effort to sexualize children. I do believe that it's all part of a plan and agenda to actually normalize pedophilia, because once people are destroyed during their developmental years, you kind of have almost a slave for life. And what's actually happening is more and more young people are being introduced to adult themes. I mean, we're already pretty much there, because you can't watch TV. Everything that is a form of social justice is being paraded in front of our faces. You have gay pride, you have a lot of stuff on the internet. You can't really help young people to maintain innocence unless you don't give them a smartphone and you don't have a TV, or you don't really let them watch it. You have to be very controlling about what young people watch if you want them to have a certain level of innocence. And obviously, if your children go to state school, then it's very hard for you to control what other children are exposing, what your kids would be seeing, for example. So it's challenging at the moment, and there's definitely a concerted effort. And Disney has always been a machine that propagandizes or promotes a lot of bad principles for young people. We know that there's princess programming, but I do believe there's also Prince Charming programming, where men or young boys are conditioned to believe that it's okay to constantly rescue women who make bad decisions. And I know that sounds very harsh, but when we look at the theme of a lot of Disney movies, it's often, no fathers in the home, rebellion, the children or whoever, a female goes off and does something they shouldn't do, and then they need to be rescued. And this doesn't promote a positive mentality for young people growing up, because as much as we say, oh, it's just a cartoon, or it's just, a little bit of animation, obviously children watch these shows over and over again, and the message in them and the behaviors in them are constantly reinforced. Now, this is something that Disney commonly does. They have their good girl, for example, and then she goes bad. And as I said in the Cuties movie, people identify with the characters in these shows because oftentimes they can see themselves, and one of the easiest ways to see yourself is just to be the same age. So when Bella Thorne was on Shake It Up and all of her Disney shows, her audience would have been tweens, you know, young, you know, under 12, maybe 12 or so, a little bit older, because they're the kind of children who are going to be attracted to that kind of show. As Bella has grown, her audience and her fans have grown with her. And now there's going to be the whole coming of age. This is not the Bella Thorne we used to know. The sexy, sassy Bella's here. And for her fans who follow her and have her as an example, they are going to transition from being sweet and innocent and cute to sassy and sexy with her. And this is how they use these celebrities to influence children to go down a perverted route. So, as I was going through images about Bella Thorne, because like I said, I wasn't sure anything really about her, I haven't really heard of her, I came across images that suggest that she is actually pansexual. So Pan was a goat god, and this is where we get the concept of Peter Pan, who is going out to the woods to draw young boys. Pan was, you know, half goat, half man, and he played the little pipes. And he would go and play the music in the woods to lure boys out there for sex. This is where the concept of pansexual comes from, because he was trying to draw anybody who would come out to the woods with him. Now, pansexual, a lot of people don't really understand that pansexual is not bisexual. Pansexual is anything that makes you sexually aroused. You want to be intimate with it. So pan includes bestiality and actually pedophilia. And it says that she had an open relationship with a man and a woman, but I mostly see her taking pictures with a lady called Tana Mongo. So there's an album cover that came out depicting Bella and Tana in a romantic embrace. And the color of the imagery is black, white, and red. For those of you who are in the truth community, you know that these are the colors of sacrifice. And Bella is a very strong female advocate. Obviously, being part of the LGBTQ community, she strongly advocates for sexual liberation. She's very much into female empowerment. I went through her Instagram, and you know, she quotes, "The female future is not feeling pressure to say yes anymore." There are a number of images of women quoting things to do with them being female and thriving. I include the picture of a lady called Jawara Robel. She's a Somali young girl who I actually saw on TV. I was kind of going to do a video about it, and I just thought, it's okay. But with the whole cuties thing, it kind of ties right in, where you have this young lady, she's from an Islamic background. She wants to do something that her family told her she couldn't do. And in this case, it's to be the first, I think it's the first black female referee. She has a passion for football, and she wanted to do this, and she's actually achieved it. I saw her being interviewed on TV, and she came out and said her family were telling her that she can't do it and that she shouldn't pursue it. And it's like she was saying, well, I went against them anyway. It's kind of like the Cuties movie, where this girl comes from a very traditional background, and although maybe her family is not happy, she wants to try it out anyway. So I found that really interesting, that out of all the females that she included in this 100-woman post about what the future of female is, that this young lady made the cut. Okay, she promotes a weed brand. I found this image very interesting, how she says, you know, I love my creativity, I can see everything. We all know about the concept of the all-seeing eye, the eye of Lucifer, the eye of Horus. Some people call it the eye of Providence. And they may say, well, it's just symbology. Again, you have the red and the white coloring, which is the color of sacrifice, and also pharmakia. A lot of people don't understand that when we get the word pharmacy or pharmaceuticals, it originates from the word pharmakia, which was witchcraft. So anything to alter or suppress your conscious state in order to allow you to be taken over by another force, according to the scripture, is witchcraft. So she's indoctrinating her subscribers or her followers into a world of prostitution. She's introducing them to very adult themes. She's exposing them to a lot of social justice issues, and on top of it, drugs. She has a post on her Instagram talking about ending rape culture. And the first one she says is, end boys will be boys. Now, men are different from women. Boys are going to be boys. And we need to promote boys will be boys, because we live in a culture that tries to feminize men, feminize boys, suppress the natural development of masculinity, and label all masculine traits as toxic. So there's no need to end boys will be boys, because the more you suppress a young man's masculinity and frustrate him, is actually the more likely he is to become agitated and dangerous. Men need outlets for their energy. They need outlets for their testosterone. They need to be able to run around. They need to be able to exercise and to put that energy to something productive. When they're not being made to be productive, that's when they actually become more restless and dangerous. So this idea of ending boys will be boys, we know that it's probably more to do with, we want to feminize men. We want to help more young men go over to an acceptable form of masculinity, which is the LGBTQ side. Okay? End the culture of she was asking for it or blaming the victim. Again, I'm not going to say we should blame victims, but Me Too has not helped women who are genuine victims, because believing all victims with no evidence is harmful to men. And also, we have to ask women and tell women, you have to be responsible. You have to be careful, because we don't live in a perfect world. We don't live in societies where it's safe to do certain things. And although no one has the right to touch you, it doesn't matter what you wear. You know, you should be able to walk down the street naked and no one touch you. The reality is this: we live in a broken culture. And one of the reasons why I actually picked this one out is because she then says, end hypersexualization, end objectification, end entitlement to women's bodies. Now, I'm not exactly sure when this post went up, but I find it very hypocritical of Bella to talk about hypersexualization and objectification, but her entire Instagram is full of highly suggestive and sexual images. If it's not her posing in underwear, it's her posing, kissing and being erotic. I mean, how do you work out ending objectification and you objectify yourself constantly through Instagram, and now you've profited from it through OnlyFans? You know, so again, she has a post on her wall by a lady called Sa. The victim says, he assaulted me. The people say, where's the proof? And then the man says, I didn't. And the people are like, okay. Well, unfortunately, Me Too has made people want to believe victims less, because so many cases have come through where the woman is claiming certain things and it's found to be untrue. We have to have proof. And I would say to anybody who is being victimized or has been assaulted, to tell somebody, because the longer you leave it, the harder it's going to be for people to be convicted. And this is kind of like the game that celebrities and Hollywood elites like to play. They present one thing on the surface, but it's something very different behind. Because how can you be saying that we want to end objectification, but you allow yourself to be objectified, not just through your Instagram, But actually, Bella Thorne won an award from Pornhub. She actually received an award from the porn giants, as it were, for her movie Hers and Him, I believe it's called. Not only has she grown up and now become this, video vixen, or she's come of age, as it were, because she's still only just 22, 23 years of age. She's already gone into the adult industry officially. We're not just talking about taking some pictures for Instagram. She's actually gone full prostitute. She's gone full sex worker. And as I've said before, there are rumors that these young people, when they are in the entertainment industry, they're being subjected to various forms of trauma-based mind control, satanic ritual abuse. They're being psychologically broken down as young people. Their personality is then split, and that causes them to later on have a breakdown. One of the reasons why I actually went down this road is because of this picture of Bella wearing the bunny ears. There are a variety of reasons why people in the occult are obsessed with rabbits and hares. Okay, so it says the rabbit as well as the hare have been associated with the worship of moon deities and may signify rebirth or resurrection. They may also be symbols of fertility, but also sensuality. And I mean, the amount of images of celebrities wearing some type of antler is, we have the Disney Club that has the symbol for Mickey Mouse. Again, it's two objects protruding from the top of the head. But a lot of these celebrities are actually wearing actual bunny ears. We know the bunny ears are the Playboy bunnies. Hugh Hefner adopted this because of the idea of these young girls who are frolicking, and they're clean and they're cute and they're funny, and they're very sexual. Now, some would also suggest that the bunny ears is in reference to a chemical known as adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is harvested from children's blood, and with the whole Jeffrey Epstein satanic ritual abuse island business, and as I said, there's a normalization to sexualize children, but there's also a huge problem allegedly with trafficking, that the bunny is a symbol of this drug, and I believe it's just cortisol and adrenaline that is harvested from the blood of scared children. Now, what happens is, very young children cannot process their emotions and they cannot process their fears. So when they're traumatized, whether it's by being scared or scared because they're being left alone or they're not getting attention, they produce an excessive amount of adrenaline and cortisol. And when the blood is taken of these children, because of the chemical reactions going on in their body, the blood actually allegedly can be drank to get high. It's addictive, and it's a bigger high than many other drugs. So there's a rumor going around that people in the celebrity world, they actually find ways to harvest this blood product. And so not only is the rabbit a symbol of sex, because for the people who are into paganism, they very much focus on nature, they focus on worship of natural elements, and they believe in the spiritual aspect of animals because of the traits that the animal has. That each animal may have one defining significant strength, and so they cleave to different animals, or maybe they want to be part of that spirit animal's spirit. So the rabbit is highly fertile. They don't have things like fertility windows. They don't have a cycle of heat, as it were. About 3/4 of the year, rabbits can reproduce. I've heard it's like a day after they give birth to a litter of pups, they can actually become pregnant again. So the main symbol, or the main aspect or focus of the rabbit and the hare, is this concept of fertility and being very sexual. And so when you combine this idea of sexuality, fertility, and also this addictive nature to the sex, and maybe, as I said, possibly this thing to do with adrenochrome, it becomes, it's almost not surprising then actually that you see yet another celebrity sporting these rabbit ears. Definitely a concerted effort to normalize satanic themes. They're obviously breaking down and attacking the nuclear family. They want to break down people's sexual morality, because we know societies and civilizations in the past, once they tended further towards sexual degeneracy, they eventually were eradicated. If people are so busy having sex, you know, getting into the trouble that comes with the casual sex, they now become easy to manipulate and control. So that's all I've got for this one. Bella Thorne makes 1 million in a day on OnlyFans, but when we go into her Instagram, when we go into her, delve a bit deeper, we see that the same satanic themes of, you know, moon worship, open relationships, promotion of female empowerment, a lot of the same kind of good girl gone bad themes are there. Not only has she gone into OnlyFans, which already is a form of sex work, she's actually already making porn and promoting drugs to her young audience, because the young people who grew up with her, they are going to continue to look up to her and follow her example. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is this nothing more than a symbol of thirst? Is it indicative of a lot of men who are not getting into relationships and they're having some kind of pseudo relationship with these online celebrities? How long have these people been following Bella? It's quite strange that at just 22 she's able to get so much cash in one day. Does that mean that people were desiring her for a long time, or is that just people from Pornhub? Let me know what you think. Like, share, comment, subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and I'll catch you in the next one.